Hi, good morning everyone. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for everyone here in our class today. My name is Derek Infiesta with Absolute Home Mortgage. So every month we teach these classes and we get together and try to give you guys some insights into our business. But today I want to give you a little side item. Today we're going to talk about appraisals. So what I did is I brought with me today an actual appraiser to kind of go over the challenges that are facing now with the industry, with values and sellers, because again, we all want to sell our homes for $1 million. But now we're going to actually get down to the nitty gritty and show you how the values are calculated and how to make sure that your listings, when you guys do list them, do have the good values on them, and we make sure we get those done. So today I brought with me again a line from A&L Appraisal Group. Line, I'll let you take over, and again, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Elena Roscoe. I've been a property appraiser for about 21 years now. I have a lot of experience in real estate with renovating properties, some building, but mainly my bread and butter has been appraising. So a lot of things that we're going to be discussing today is inspections, how to list your property, and what's happening with the market, why, or sometimes why the values aren't coming in, what was the difference between the way the property was listed, and you guys can either come up with some properties and we can kind of look at them on the MLS and see how you will probably do something or pull your comps versus the way that I look at it, or the way I look at it is the way the majority of the appraisers look at it. That's kind of the way we do it. We look at the neighborhood boundaries. If we go into a property, I myself I'm a certified residential appraiser, so I can only do 1 to 4 units. So one being a single family house, duplex, triplex, fourplex. Anything above that is commercial. So I can't be involved in that.
What counties do you do?
I normally do from Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, and Indian River.
Okay.
So I go from Homestead to Vero Beach. And as far I go to Clewiston. That's pretty much as far as I go. But it's a wide area for me. And I know Miami because I lived in Miami for 20 years, and I lived in Broward for about 8 years, and then I've been up here the rest of the time. But I know this area pretty well. Pretty much like the back of Miami, like the back of my hand, because that was my stomping ground over there. But I do condos, multifamily, single family, land, and this is what I look at. Okay, so if you have any questions or any specific questions that you want me to look at, we can talk about that. You guys have anything?
I have one question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I find that my last couple of listings, which was last year, I find it better when I take a listing, I found that it's better, correct me if I'm right or wrong, to have the seller get the property appraised at the beginning.
Yes.
So this way, you can eliminate a lot of the
Lowball offers.
yeah, or they say
Yes.
it's not worth it or whatever. I can say here's the appraisal. It came out just like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that correct?
That is really the best way for not only the seller, but also for flippers, for investors, anybody before they're going to list a property, before they're going to renovate a property. You really want to get an appraisal because you want to know how much equity the property has. How much do you have to play with? So if you have a property that's that you just picked up for $200,000, and you want to know, well, I'm going to renovate it. Let's say it's an estate sale or it was a foreclosure. You think you went to Zillow, and you got a number. You got a number. Okay, this property is worth this much. But you got a property that's distressed. It's in original condition. Hasn't been updated, so now you think you got a good deal. So you need to know how much money you're going to spend on this. How much money am I going to put into this property? Where's this property located? What's the neighborhood like? Are we in a lower income neighborhood? Are we in an acreage community? Where are we? So you need to find out, find that as well. So once you're in your neighborhood, you can find out exactly what the highest range is. Then you got to find out, okay, well, who's your buyer? Who are your buyers? Right? Your sellers, usually they think that I got the best house on the block. They think because they renovated their house 15 years ago that they're okay. No, I renovated my house. I just did. I had one lady tell me over here in Lake Clark Shores, I was doing the inspection. She told me, I just did my roof. I did it in 1999.
That's 22 years old already.
Yeah. She literally told me
You
that.
can't get insurance on the house.
But she told me this in front of her husband. I just did the roof in 99.
Yeah.
And this was like, and it was 20 years old. This was like 2 years ago. I go, time fly. I go, that was 20 years ago.
They have another 5 years left.
No, there was nothing left because it was a shingle roof. A shingle roof, it ranges between 15 and 25 years, depending on hurricanes.
Right.
And we've had how many hurricanes in 20 years? So you need to know what's up to date. As realtors, you guys are going to know. You guys are going to step into $1 million homes, really renovated homes, houses that are retro, that have been renovated, but they maintain rental, so they're in great condition. They're 50 years old, but they look great. Some people like that flavor. In Lake Worth, you're going to find a lot of homes like that with those retro bathrooms, retro kitchens. And then if you don't have the right appraiser walk in, they go, no, this house is original. And they're going to hit you with a low value. Where you might find somebody, no, this is in great condition. You got terrazzo floors, everything's really in good condition. You might find a really good buyer that's willing to pay more than a property that's updated. They may not like that. So we need to know, as appraisers and a realtor, what are we going to list this property at in this neighborhood, and what's the highest and best use of the property, right? So when you talk, and when you talk to your sellers, or when your buyers also, we're talking about buyers as well, and they buy a property that's in original condition, they need to know as well, how much am I going to invest in this property? Am I going to put money into this kitchen? What kind of kitchen am I going to put? Am I going to put a $10,000 kitchen or a $100,000 kitchen? You need to know. And the questions you're going to ask is, how long are you going to be here? Do you have kids? How old are your kids? If you have a kid that's 1 or 2 years old, you're probably going to be in this house maybe 15, 20 years. If your kids are teenagers, your kids are leaving, going to college, you're going to be in the house with your husband or your wife. You may not be in this house for a long time. So if you're not going to be in the house for 5 years, you may not be able to recoup that money. If you're thinking about completely remodeling this house and going overboard, because you're going to get this, well, I'm going to live it. I just want to spend because I want to put the kitchen that my wife wants. And I'm going to live it, and okay, well, if you're going to spend $300,000 in your house, you may not get your money back. So you need to think about who your buyer is. Are they going to be here for 5 years? Are they going to be here? Is it their forever home? A lot of people say this is my forever home, and then things happen. There's a divorce, or the kids leave, and now one of the spouses dies. I can't stay here. This has happened to my neighbor. I can't stay here now. This house is too big for me. Well, yeah, but you just put up a CBS detached garage that cost $250,000. You may not recover that. All the equity you had, you just spend it in upgrades. So those are the things that you really need to look into, and this is why you should ask for an appraisal. If you're not really familiar with how to do it, I mean, I'm going to give you some pointers and what to look at. But again, it takes a lot of experience going into properties. Basically, as an appraiser, I'm a professional buyer because I know what different buyers are looking for. I'm looking at original houses in original condition, depending on the neighborhood. What kind of upgrades are we talking about? What are we doing with the land? Do things matter? A lot of realtors, does this really matter? I've had conversations with realtors on site, and I go, you didn't do the landscaping. They renovated the whole house on the inside, and the landscaping looks terrible. It looks terrible. There's nothing on the outside. There wasn't a plant, one pot in the ground. He goes, does it matter? Yeah, it matters. You got curb appeal. Curb appeals matters. And it's expensive if you go crazy depending on the size of the lot. But it matters. Curb appeal matters. Your bathrooms, your flooring, the finishes, the quality of the finishes, all that matters.
What's your opinion on pools, in-ground pools? I heard pros and cons. Well, what's your opinion as you're a professional appraiser?
Okay, pools, above ground pools, that doesn't count. Above ground pools, that doesn't count. Or generally doesn't count.
And what about hot tubs, above ground hot tubs?
It generally doesn't count because all these type of adjustments, all adjustments that we do are based on market reaction. You understand what market reaction means?
No.
Okay, it means that what is the market paying for? What's the market paying for in the neighborhood? So let's say we go into a lower income neighborhood, or we're talking about pools. We go into a lower income neighborhood, and somebody's been living there for 30 years, and they say, you know what, my house is paid for, I want to put in a pool. Okay, well, the pools right now are costing about $65,000. They used to cost $35,000 before COVID. Now they're costing $65,000, $70,000, $80,000 for a pool. So if you put that pool in the house, and now all of a sudden you decide to sell the house, nobody in the neighborhood has a pool. Nobody can afford to clean the pool. To clean the pool is going to cost you $85 a month. The maintenance of the electricity to run that water. Okay, some people are they don't have the money for groceries, or they don't have the money for medication, so they can't afford to keep that pool clean. I've seen pools on the property appraiser's office that says pool. I get there, there's no pool. There's no pool in they filled it in with dirt because they can't afford it. They bought it with the pool. They said, I'm going to fill this thing. I can't. This is just a swamp. I can't afford to take care of this. In that case, the pool there's no adjustment. If I go over there, there's no adjustment. The market is not paying for a house with a pool. They're going to pass by that house. As soon as they see the pool, they're going to go, I can't afford this.
What's your average adjustment for a pool?
Market. It's a market adjustment, pair sales analysis. Everything that has to do with bedrooms, bathrooms, garages, pools is based on market reaction. There is no number.
So, can you give me an example?
We're going to get to that.
Like right now, currently. Like,
No, every neighborhood is different.
Okay.
This is why I'm saying, when I started in the lower income neighborhood, it could be zero.
Yeah.
If you go out to the acreage,
Okay.
or if you go out to Palm Beach,
Yeah.
if you go out into Jupiter,
Okay.
you have to, you're going to see what is the market paying for a house with a pool. I remember one, this is when pools were $35,000, the average pool, just a rectangular, regular pool.
Okay.
This was a 2-story house that I was doing. The guy had just renovated his house beautifully on the inside. And the other houses in the neighborhood had been renovated but back in 2005, like 15 years ago. So this was newly remodeled. He didn't have a pool. So as an appraiser, we have to do the comparison. How do we figure out? We look at houses with pools and houses with no pools, and we see what's the difference. That basically answers your question.
Okay. Yeah. Just so I
But now we have
to
to look at condition.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have to try to find the most comparable. It'd be beautiful if I can find a house that was completely renovated, 2-story, with no pool. There's your comp. That's your value, right? But we don't always have that.
Okay.
9 out of 10 times we don't have that. So we got to kind of try to figure it out. So we have to do adjustments for condition, for difference in upgrades. They upgrade the kitchen, but they didn't do the bathrooms. Did they do the kitchen and bathrooms and floors? We have to kind of figure that out ourselves.
Do you guys have a specific formula that you
No. It's just kind of, you get a flavor for it.
Yeah.
You kind of see what the market paid. Well, this house sold for $50,000 more. Well, obviously, if somebody were to try to remodel this house, it costs more than $50,000. Or maybe, depends on the type of quality. Mm-hmm. So, but going back to that property, I had to find comps that had pools and no pools. I needed one, because you have to bracket in the appraisal report. We have to bracket the pool area. If the house has a pool, we can't put all houses with no pools, because I didn't come up with a number for the pool. I got to figure it out. If an appraiser just puts in, let's just say the cost of the pool is $35,000. We don't do adjustments based on cost. They're not based on cost. That answers the question. When a person says, I just spent $300,000 on my house renovating my house, aren't you going to recognize that? Aren't you going to give me something for that? Well, it's not. If you spend $300,000 and you spend $50,000, I got to see what neighborhood you're in. Is the market paying for that $300,000 upgrade? Are you in Wellington, in the Polo Grounds? Yeah, $300,000, that's about right. But you're going to spend $300,000 in Riviera Beach? No, you're
over-improved.
It's over-improved. It's over-improved. So you need to see where you're at. That's how, in every single neighborhood, there isn't a specific amount. I get the question, how much do you adjust for a garage? 1 versus 2-car garage, or a bathroom, or additional bathrooms, or there is no specific amount. So with the pool, in this case that we're talking about, there was about $130,000 difference between pools. no pool and pool. There's your adjustment. There's your adjustment, right? So we played with that, 130. Then the property was renovated. The houses with the pools had not been renovated. They were from 2005. So I have to figure out that. So you start kind of zeroing in, and then you figure out that the pool adjustment was about $100,000. So if in his case, if he would have put a $35,000 pool, he would be up. That's a good investment. When usually you put a $50,000 pool,
Bless you.
and sometimes you may not see that investment back for a while. Sometimes you may not. But right now with the market, the way it's been increasing since COVID, in the acreage. I live out in the acreage.
I just bought a house.
In the, that's where?
Crestwood, right off of Centinel Pratt.
Okay, yeah. There.
Ice Cove and Minto and all that.
Okay, you mean Crestwood?
No, Crestwood.
Crestwind?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's on Town Center.
Okay.
Town Center.
Okay, but you're not in the acreage. You're in the by the Minto homes?
Yes.
Okay. But the acreage, since COVID started, has been increasing about 20% a year. 20%. That's a lot. The average market.
The other homes that have been there for like
Pretty much, yeah.
acre or 2 acre parcels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to specialize in that.
Yeah.
That area.
Yeah, well, that neighborhood is, typically as appraisers, we stay within a 1 mile radius. When you go into like just regular in the city, you stay within a 1 mile radius or within your boundaries, the neighborhood boundaries, right? Well, in the acreage is 8 miles wide. From Royal Palm Beach Boulevard to 190 Avenue North, that's like 8 miles. And then from North Lake all the way to Southern, that's the whole neighborhood. So if you have an appraiser that doesn't know the area, and if he stays within 1 mile, he's going to be like, you need to go wider, because that is your neighborhood, especially because you're looking at 1 to 2 acre properties. But that's how the adjustments are done with the pools. Same thing with garages. So if you have a house that has a 1-car garage, you want to pull your comps that have 1-car garages or less, because you can make an adjustment from 1 car to 0 cars, or just open parking. I normally will not, if I'm looking at a house with no garage, I normally would not use a house with a 2-car garage. I'll try to find houses, apples to apples. I'll try to find a house with no car garage, open parking, maybe a carport, up to 1-car garage, but I'm not going to skip, because they need to be comparable. You kind of look at it like they need to be interchangeable. Would one owner consider having another one? Yeah, one owner with no garage would love to have a 2-car garage, but would that owner of the 2-car garage, would he consider buying that house with no garage? Probably not. Probably not, because even if he doesn't park his cars inside the garage, he uses it for storage. So they need that space. A person who doesn't have a garage, they usually have a shed or something in the back. You're not gonna be able to do that. You need to have apples to apples. Really compare them as much as possible. Same thing with bedrooms. With condos, you stick right there. If it's a 1-bedroom condo, your comps are gonna be a 1-bedroom. I've seen appraisers. I had one trainee who went to Miami, and his supervisor was allowing him to use 2-bedroom comps for a 1-bedroom subject, and just simply adjust for the bedroom. Yeah, that's easy to explain, but why would you? It's not comparable. We can do the adjustment for the from 2-bedroom to 1-bedroom, but why? If you have other 1-bedrooms, you have other 1-bedrooms, and if that property ever goes into foreclosure, they're going to come back and they're going to pull the appraisal back up. They're going to pull the appraisal back up. They're going to see, okay, was the property actually worth this? Because they're going to come after whoever has the insurance, to try to get my insurance, to pay for the difference, whatever they lost. They're going to try to come after me. Not you guys. They won't come after you guys. They're going to come after me.
I have a question for you. So as far as condos go, for example, in Palm Beach, we have some condos that are very new, and we have some that are very old. So when you're looking at a condo and you're looking at a 2-bedroom condo, and you're trying to find comps for that condo, are you going to stay as much as you can to that one building, or are you going to go within it already?
No, you should have something in that building. If you have resales in the building, you can stay in the building. They can all be from the building.
But you guys use 6 comps, right?
3 minimum.
3 minimum.
3 minimum.
Okay. So what if there's only 1 in that building?
then you can find the other two somewhere else, from another building, a similar building, similar in age. You want to find a unit in another building that has a similar view. If you're on the intercoastal, you want to find something that has an intercoastal view, not an ocean view. If you don't have enough sales, you can use the ocean view, but you have to figure out, through pair sales analysis, you have to figure out what's the adjustment. How much more they're paying for the one on the ocean, or a unit facing north, or a unit facing south. You can figure it out. Direct ocean view, typically they pay, that's the highest that they pay at. Even though a lot of people, when they buy those direct ocean views, they actually end up regretting it, because the higher you go, the louder it gets, because it gets very windy, and then sometimes you can't even have your lights on because of the turtles.
Because of the what?
Because of the turtles.
Really?
If you
Yeah.
leave your light on, it's
Wow.
like
You can get
at
fined
night. Yeah, they'll fine you.
thousands of dollars by leaving your lights on, because the turtles will come to you.
What? This is a condo.
This is a condo.
So what if you're on the 6th floor, 10th floor, and you left your lights on?
Yeah, you can get fined.
How are the turtles going to get into that?
They're not going to get into your unit. They're going to come to the beach.
So
They're coming.
what's the problem?
They can die. They can die.
They start going towards your condo.
They start going towards your building.
By cars.
The turtles usually go to a certain spot. Every time they come. You're gonna throw them off.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have those like orange, low tone
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah.
See, I'm from California, so I just learned something.
Yeah. This happens.
I thought you were being a joke.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm telling you. If you and it's pitch black at night. I mean, you're looking at it, it's pitch black. It looks beautiful during the day, but at night it's pitch black and it's very windy, and you can't put your lights on. Your terrace lights.
I have an online question from Yvette. What about water view?
Water view?
Yeah, maybe with a lake or something that they're not specific enough.
Everything is, again, like through the comparison. Everything has to do with the comparison. So if let's say we have a lake and you're on a dry lot, you don't have a view. Normally, if you're in a gated community, the developer has already priced everything out for you, right? You're gonna go in there, he says, the waterfront properties, we're gonna sell them at $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 more, right? So you think that your property is worth $30,000 more. When you go either refinance your house or you go sell your house, and your appraiser comes in and says, well, and you tell the appraiser as a seller, I paid $50,000 more for that lake view. That means nothing. It means nothing when I come in, because I now have to figure out what on the resale are they really paying. If you have a house on a dry lot that sold for $300,000 and you have one on the lake that sold for $305,000, and it's exactly the same, that tells everybody, because when I do the appraisal report, everybody should be able to read that report and figure out exactly what I was trying to explain. The ones on dry lots are selling for $300. The ones on the lake just sold for $305. Yeah, but the developer sold it to you for $20,000 more. That's what it is. It's $5,000 right now. It could change. It could change next month. And depending on where you are on the lake, somebody might pay more. If your lake is like this, if this is the lake, and your house is right here, you're probably going to pay a lot less than the guy who has a long view of the lake. Or the guy over here that has the wide view of the lake. Everywhere on the lake has a different value to it. So you have to figure that out as a realtor. Well, how much you think we can sell it for? Well, the guy over there at the end who's got the long view of the lake sold it for $50,000 more. Well, that's a good, But if you're here in this corner and you have very little water, you might, your seller, you need to explain to your seller, listen, we don't have the best view, but we have a better view. We have a better view than the one who has no view, than the one who's on a dry lot.
So are the same for golf courses?
Yeah, depending on where you're at, where they're teeing, and it's not necessarily if you at the beginning of the tee, when you first start teeing out, you don't want people in your back of your house every single morning right there. So you have to see that what's the nuisance, what's, you know, is it beneficial to be in that spot? It's all by, is it beneficial or is it a negative? Well, everybody always comes over here behind my house to start teeing off. I don't really like that.
I had a listing a couple of years ago. It was classified as a condo. It was really a townhouse.
Okay. Well, yeah, but a townhouse can be a condo.
Right. Yeah.
Guys, it's just a type of ownership.
Yes.
Villas, condos, and even detached houses can be condominium owned.
Correct.
Is there a difference between assessment between a townhouse and a condo?
Yes.
What do you mean the assessment? What they're paying?
Yeah.
No, it's up to the HOA or the association. It just means the type of ownership.
Okay.
The condo, you don't own the land.
Yeah.
With the regular house, you do. So you can have a townhouse where you own the lot. The way to figure that out is when you go to the PAPA, the Palm Beach County records or any kind of records, you'll see if it has a lot and block. If it has a lot and block, you own that land. If it has a unit number or a letter or something like that, it's a condo.
I have another question from Sandra online. She say how the average between how you adjust it between dirty road or not?
A dead road?
Yeah, dirty.
A dead end.
Yeah, dirty. Dirt.
Oh, dirt road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically, this is like for in the acreage. Were we finished with that topic yet?
No, I actually was going to say something about it.
We'll move on to that.
Just to finish up, I had a couple of years ago, I had a condominium. It was a townhouse, really. It was in the backyard. The back faced the golf course. And the most, when I had potential buyers coming in, the first question they asked is, God, it's a nice view, but how many golf balls break the windows?
That's very typical.
And he did have a couple of my.
That's very typical. That's very typical.
That was the only really bad.
Yeah.
I had to tell them the truth. You know,
Yeah.
every so often.
That's very common. And a golfer would know that.
Yes.
The golfer probably may not want to be on the golf course.
I didn't sell it to a golfer. I sold it to some young kid with his daughter.
Yeah, because they don't know, because they think it's a beautiful view.
Right.
But the golfer will be like, I'm not going to get on this golf
They
course.
didn't bring it up, and I didn't.
I play in this golf course. I know where the balls go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's how it is. But as realtors and as appraisers, we're professional buyers. We're kind of like we're going to see what every problem, where there could be a problem, whether you're on the water, whether you're on a busy road, whether there's a gas station in front or a supermarket in front, or you're on a dirt road, you're going to see all the benefits and the pros and cons.
I do have one more question. Getting back to the turtles.
Yeah.
No, this is like new to me. I have friends that live in Highland Beach and and then right across the street they have the mansions right on the beach.
Right.
I've been there many times at night partying, and everybody has their lights on, and they do have turtles. They have those little flags saying, "Stay away. That's where the eggs are."
That's right.
So how come those people not getting fined money when they're right on the beach and the houses are all lit up?
The house?
Yeah, the living
I don't know how it goes with the house. I know how it goes with the condos.
But the
with the
condos right
condos.
across the street.
They'll still
Oh,
get
no.
fined.
But the house is on the intercoastal, or where's it at? Or is it on where's beach?
It's on, the houses are on the beach facing the ocean, but the condos are on the intercoastal.
No, it's not a problem. It was on the intercoastal.
But the buildings are right across the street, the condominium buildings are right across the street from the houses that are on the beach.
I'm not sure exactly how it is with the city, how they handle it when it's a house. I know with condos, with the rules that they have, I'm not sure exactly with the houses. I don't
To
know.
answer your question, so my other job, I work for a land developer, and he's in Manalapan on A1A. He has his main house on the intercoastal side. He has a beach house on the beach side, and it's about like 200-300 feet
Right.
from the actual beach. And there's, growth, the sea grapes and stuff, and a little path to the beach. He left his light on inside the beach house and just had like a very light outdoor light. He got a fine, he got a notice, and just for leaving
There you go.
the beach house light on, and you can barely even see the beach house from the beach, the actual beach.
It's absurd.
Yeah,
That's
so
absurd.
if you're on that same side of the beach, yeah, and all those big houses with their lights on, you bet your ass they're getting like hefty fines.
Hefty.
Yeah.
It's not a $500 fine.
So who the hell would want to
It could be like a
live there?
$5,000
You
fine.
can't-
Some
It's
of
crazy.
them don't care. They're like, okay, we'll pay the fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you have a nice
Have you
house,
got it
probably
like
don't
that?
care.
Yeah, but how often are you gonna be paying $5,000?
Depends on-
Every time the turtle pulls up.
Yeah, no, it's true though.
You
And
know?
they inspect the beach at like 4 in the morning too. They're
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
the only time. That's the only time you can do it.
Start developing a taste for the turtle soup.
Okay, so talking about the dirt roads. You're gonna find dirt roads over in the acreage. So the generally, homes on paved roads sell at higher premium. So that basically answers the question. Okay, and I live on a paved road, and I've lived on a dirt road. I prefer the paved road. You know, I had a couple nice cars, and every time on a dirt road, it would get dirty, all the time. You know, and when it rains, it's just a mud pit. So generally, they sell at a higher premium. But even though I know that they sell at a higher premium, I have to be able to prove it on an appraisal report every single time. Every single time. So I can't just say, well, it's always been, more expensive on a paved road than on a dirt road. But if you look at the land sales in the acreage and you pull up all the land sales there, you're going to see lots on dirt roads that are selling higher than the ones on the paved roads. You know, and you say, well, why? Well, it could be that the land was higher, it was cleared already. You got some lots already on Northlake that are selling much higher, and even on Okeechobee Boulevard, they're much higher. But generally speaking, the ones on paved roads sell for more. You know, that's it.
Another question. So, in this current crazy market, how far back are you looking at comps?
No, you got so many sales right now. You can go back 30 days.
Yeah.
You can go back 30 days, but we generally stay within a year.
Okay.
We typically stay within a year.
I just read an article, and it said that depending on the property, that you should even go back 10 years if you have to justify a comp.
Yeah, we don't need that here.
No?
We have so many sales. There's no need to go back further. We can't, because we can't ignore from the effective date. The effective date of the report is going to be the date of the inspection. So we cannot ignore. I can't jump because the realtor showed up and said, here's the best comps that I found. I'm not there to find the best comps. I mean, I'm trying to find the best comparable sales, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the highest sales. I just did a duplex. It was a brand new duplex over in Lake Worth, and they were selling it for I think it was like a little over $700,000 for a duplex. And my value came in somewhere in the 500s. So they're off by like $150,000.
So what happens when, obviously, unless it's a cash sale, but what happens? FHA requires if the contract is contingent upon appraisal. So
If it's contingent, you got to put up the rest of the money. That's it.
yeah.
That's how it is. You want it that bad, you got to put up the rest of the money. But the realtor, when they get the report, they said, wow, I thought this property was worth $700,000. The realtor immediately starts going into, you guys are going to start pulling up comps. Well, if you guys pulled up the right comps at the beginning, we wouldn't have this problem. So they send me 6 comparable sales, reconciliation of value. That's what it's called. I need you to reconcile the value. And they send me 6 comps that are fourplexes. Why would you send me 6 4-unit buildings?
That's not.
If your subject is a 2-unit property. Because all they did was just look at the highest ones. That's not the way, that's not the way it works. You gotta find apples to apples. If I'm doing a duplex, I'm gonna look at duplexes. I'm not gonna look at a triplex or a fourplex. I can go to a triplex if there aren't any duplexes or they're not enough. But I'm gonna stick to apples. And they sent me 6 fourplexes, every one of them. It was 5 fourplexes and 2 were 2 duplexes that were sold together in a multifolio sale. So he still sent me 4 units. How am I, if you have an appraiser who doesn't really, is just starting out, doesn't really know, and he does that, he's putting himself in really hot water. How's he gonna explain that? If that property goes into foreclosure, how's he gonna explain that to the board? I use these four places and I raise the value $150,000. How are you gonna explain that? You're gonna lose your license. In a case like that, you're not even gonna, you're gonna pass go, it's gonna be pass go and go straight to jail. You can go to jail. You can go to jail. Not only lose your license, but you can go to jail. That's how serious these things, appraising is. So, these are the things that we, as appraisers, we look at, and as realtors, you have to consider. If you're looking at multifamily, look at comparables. Look at your duplexes. Like I said, we can extend past the triplexes if we don't have, if they're similar in size, if they're kind of pulling the same amount of income, you can. If you don't have that many sales. But we do have plenty of sales. We have sales on the east side of 95 in Lake Worth, and we have sales over in Palm Springs and Lake Worth and all that. We have plenty of duplexes. So that's it. Anything else? No questions?
You said we could put up our listings and you could give us.
Yeah, you can. One thing that I do want to point out that we haven't talked about in the other classes: when you guys are listing your properties, make sure when you're talking to your seller that you look at your list to sale price ratio, because that really your list to sale price ratio. That's really important, because this way when you pull up on the MLS, or we could probably show you. I don't have a laptop here. They were supposed to bring one. But when you pull up in the MLS, when you look at the list to price ratio, it'll show you if you're at 96%, if you're at 90% of the list price. If you're at 90% of the list price, then you know that you want to probably list a property 10% higher than what you think the property is actually going to sell for. If you think the property is actually going to sell for $500,000, or that's the highest one in the neighborhood, list your property at $550,000. That's 10%. List it there. This way you know that everybody else looking at the listing and says, well, this property is overpriced. It's really worth $500,000. Then you're going to get your $500,000. You're going to get that offer. If you're upside down and you're just putting up, if you're putting up at $600,000, it's not going to make it. The value, the appraisal. If the appraisal is based on is contingent on the appraisal passing, then you're good. If not, then don't waste anybody's time. If it's not contingent on appraisal, then don't waste it. It doesn't really matter what the value you put in there.
List to price.
List to sale price ratio.
Okay. Where do you?
In the CMA.
Oh, okay.
On the MLS, you can look under the CMA and under
The drop-down menu.
drop down menu over on the top menu.
bar.
Yeah, CMA right there, and you can look at 1004MC. That gives you also the
Okay, so if I'm on Matrix.
yeah. Well, I use the Flex MLS.
Okay, I think it's the same thing, really. I mean, a little different.
Yeah, you figure.
So if I go on I'm on Matrix. So if I go on top of the toolbar to the CMA, drop down the menu.
Look for the 1004MC. That's the way I use it on the Flex.
I'm sorry. What is
The
it?
1004MC. It's a form that as a
1004C.
yeah, it's 10004. I mean, say 1004 MC. That has it. That has the break. It has the list sale price ratios. Has the median value range. It has the average. It has what the median price range was 7 to 12 months ago, what it was 4 to 6 months ago, and what it was in the last 3 months. So that tells you if the market's increasing, if it's just floating by, if it's stable, or if it's declining. We got some areas already that it's already stable. I mean, some areas that I'm already pulling that it's already stable. Some areas are still climbing.
So it's called list to sale ratio.
Price ratio.
Price ratio.
Price ratio.
List to sale price ratio.
Right. That has everybody seen that on the MLS? Yeah.
I don't think I have.
Yeah. Just if anything, just call the MLS and tell them, hey, where can I find it? And they'll point it out to you. But that tells you exactly where you should be listing your property. If you pull your own comps, your own pool of comps, and you pull the list sale price ratio, it's going to tell you exactly what properties are actually selling for versus their listing price. So if you're at 99%, then you're within 1% of that list price. Sometimes you're above. Sometimes it'll show 102, 105%. That's happening a lot right now. Where you're listing properties right now, especially because of COVID, you're listing properties at 700,000. I had one, they had the property was listed for 775. It sold for 875. It sold for $100,000 more. So you're seeing that a lot now. So now, in this market, you may not be so, it may not kill your deal because a lot of people are coming in with money and they're putting up the difference. Even though, I guess you guys are probably telling your buyers, it may not hit the value. The appraisal may not hit the value. Do you have enough money? So the problem isn't the appraisal. The problem is that your buyers don't have enough money. That's usually the case. They'll start getting on top of the appraiser. Oh, the appraiser did this wrong and did this wrong, this wrong. Listen, at the end of the day, the appraiser is just giving his opinion. You can get as long as it's not FHA, because with FHA you're stuck with the appraisal for 6 months. But if it's a conventional loan, you can get another appraiser, go to another mortgage company. You got 3 of them. You got 3 different of them here, and you can go somebody else. But at the end of the day, your guy needs more money. If you already know, when you do your own research, when you're gonna go show a property for your buyer to buy, when he's gonna ask you, is this property really worth this? Am I going to be able to afford this? Can I get this property? And well, they're asking a lot. They're asking too much. The market for this property is $500,000. They're asking $550,000. Do you have $50,000, $100,000? You got to have at least 50, because you got to put a down payment. So if you're going 5% down or 10% down, that's another. You need 100 plus closing cost. So you got to figure, talk to your buyers and your clients, how much money you got, to buy. What can you really afford? And Absolute and Crush. I work with all of them, all 3 of them. They all going to tell you exactly what you can really afford. So you guys can really know what you're going to list your properties at, or when you bring your buyers, what they can really get. Or sometimes what you guys normally do is, if the appraisal doesn't hit, then we'll start negotiating with the seller. That's it. That's on your court. But as appraisers, we look at apples to apples. When it has to do with dirt roads, we were talking about dirt roads versus paved roads. Generally, in those areas, there's a higher premium. They do pay more, but not always. So if I can't prove that in the appraisal report, then there's not going to be an adjustment if one house sold on a dirt road versus one on a paved road, and they're exactly the same. They're probably not going to be an adjustment. Pools, the same thing. So we discussed that with the pools. There's going to be if you built a $100,000 pool, and there's a pool that's already, and yours is brand new, and there's one that was built in the 70s, but he already has a pool. I need to see if there's going to be a market adjustment for this brand new pool, just to see if did the buyers buy this house. When I talk to the realtor, I got to find out, did they love the pool that much that they paid more than the property's actually worth? Let's go back to 500. If they paid 520, did they go up 20? What is it? 5% more because of the pool? Is that why? We got to figure it out. We'll figure it out. But pools, garages, bathrooms, if you have, the more bathrooms you have, the lesser the adjustment, typically. Because if you have a house that has 6 bathrooms, how am I going to figure out what the adjustment is for an additional bathroom? How many more bathrooms do you need? But if you have a 2-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms versus a house with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, that difference of that 1 bathroom could be a large adjustment.
Even if it's just a half bath?
Even if it's a half bath, because you have another bathroom. But in a house that has like 6,000 square feet, probably not going to be no adjustment.
Yeah.
From 6 bathrooms to 7 bathrooms, how do I, even if it costs a guy $15,000 or $20,000 to put that bathroom in there, it's because the adjustments are based on market reaction. So is somebody going to really, can I really pluck that from the market and say, no, this buyer here, he needed that 7th bathroom in that house. But with condos or with houses from 1 to 2 bathrooms, and then for 2 to 3 bathrooms, it starts, there is a difference in the price adjustment.
What about a condo? What would you say, like a condo that has 2 full baths and then like a half bath, compared to another condo that only has the 2 full baths?
We have to figure it out. Are they paying more for that half bath? We have to you can pull up either, if they have a lot of sales, pull up all the ones that are 2.5 baths and all the ones that are 2 baths, and pull up the medium price range and see if there's a difference. You'll see a difference. Pull up 10. Put 10 2.2s and 10 2.1, and you'll see the difference of the price range. There it is. If there's no adjustment, there's no adjustment. And the appraiser has to put that in the report. We have to put it, there was no market reaction. No market reaction, that's it. I have to be able to prove it. And sometimes we do make adjustments based on our experience in the neighborhood. And we're able to do it, but generally we have to be able to prove it to the person reading the report. I adjusted this much for this reason.
If the property is listed in a property appraisal, on the details, it says 3-bedroom, and when you actually go to the unit, it's 4-bedroom.
That doesn't matter.
You don't count it?
No, because I count what's there when I inspected the property, not what's in the county records. The county records could be wrong. Sometimes it'll say 1 bathroom, and I go to the property, there's 3 bathrooms. Now, I have to see also if the bathrooms are legal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they don't.
If they're legal and where they're located. So if I go to a house that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a 2-car garage, and then the garage was converted into a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, illegally, I'm not going to use that. If it was converted legally, or if it was converted in a workmanlike manner, that's the actual definition, workmanlike. It's one word, workmanlike. If it was done in a professional manner, then they raise the floor, because typically the majority of the garages have a step down. If they raise the floor to the foundation of the house, if they took off the garage door, if they added a window, because there needs to be a fire escape, if it looks like a bedroom, then it's a bedroom, from inside and outside. If it looks like a garage on the outside, then I'm not going to consider it a bedroom, right? And that's a lot. And a lot of realtors run into that problem. Oh, they did. I mean, it looks like this is really nice, but the moment that I went from the kitchen into the garage, I did this. Well, then we can put it back to a garage. If I can easily put it back into a garage, the lender or the underwriter is going to ask, what's the cost to convert back to its original use? And typically, if the garage door is there, they just took off the tracks and covered it with drywall, and and just put a bed in there and made it really nice, and put AC in there. If you can put it back by just taking off the drywall, and a car can step in, then the conversion back to its original use is a couple $100, or manual labor, just manual.
So even if they did it without a permit, you still count it?
If they did it without permit and it was done in a workmanlike manner, I will use it, except the bathroom. The bathroom could be a problem for the lenders, because if that bathroom floods and the water runs into the house, the insurance company won't pay. They won't pay. That's a problem.
That condo I told you about with the golf course,
Uh-huh.
it was a 2-bedroom, 2 full baths and a half bath, and so 2-bedroom and a loft.
Okay.
And but on the county record, the tax records, it said 3-bedroom, and
Because of the convertible, because of the loft.
the loft.
Yeah.
They didn't classify as a loft. They just said it was a 3-bedroom.
Right.
Now to convert it to a
Did
bedroom,
the loft have a closet?
no.
Okay.
But it had a window, and I would have had to close off the pony wall,
Right.
raise it, put a shelf, a closet in there, and then put a door, and it would have been a bedroom. And I could have sold it many times over. People said, "Oh, you said it's a 3-bedroom. It's not." I said, "I had some."
Who listed it? Who listed it?
Who listed it?
Yeah. So you listed it wrong. You're supposed to list it. You're saying that you could have sold it if it were a 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 full.
Did you list it as a 3-bedroom?
No, I said, I don't remember the exact verbiage I put in there, in the broker comments.
Yeah.
But I put down,
Convertible.
loft easily converted to
Yeah.
a 3-bedroom. But on the county records, it says 3-bedroom. It's really a loft.
But the buyers were looking for a 3-bedroom,
Yes,
and it stepped away.
yes. I
Right.
could have sold it 15 times in 5 minutes.
Right.
And it said it took me 3 months to get rid of it. I found the right person.
Yeah.
Finally got
That's
it.
what it is. You just got listed right. You got listed right. Now talking about convertibles, when we compare apples to apples, if you go into a community that some of the communities will have the floor plan, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, right? Now they're having the 3rd room as a flexible room. They call them flex rooms. You can use it as a study. You can use it as a bedroom. You can use it as a den. It's a flex. Those are kind of interchangeable because of that room. So then I would consider using, if my subject is a 2-bedroom with a flex room, I would consider using that same model or something similar with a 3rd bedroom. So mine's a 2-bedroom with a flex. I would consider using a comparable with a 3-bedroom because you can easily convert it.
Correct.
You can just put French doors, or you can put drywall. You can easily convert it because the space is there. The walls are up. Then I would. So that's something you guys need to consider. If you guys are looking at a 2-bedroom house that has a den that can be turned into a bedroom, you guys can think about, you use expand to that. If it doesn't, and if it's just those rooms, 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room, then you got a total of 4 rooms, kitchen, living room, 2 bedrooms, total 4 rooms, then you're gonna stay with a house that has 4 rooms, 4 total rooms. If you go into 5 rooms, it's got a den, then I'm not gonna consider it.
Can you use that flex room? Can you call that flex room a bedroom if it doesn't have a bathroom in
It doesn't have to have the ensuite. You can have, you mean a closet? Is that your question?
it? No. You have a 2-bedroom house.
Right.
With a flex, you also have a flex room.
Right.
You can use it whatever.
Right?
Let's just say
The bedroom doesn't have to have a bathroom.
doesn't have to have a
It
bathroom.
doesn't have to have an ensuite, no.
Doesn't have to have a closet to be considered a room.
Typically, not necessarily, but it does help. It doesn't have to because it can easily be made.
Right.
It can easily be made. But what it does have to do,
Home Depot put it in there.
you can bolt it to the wall. It can easily be made. What it does have to have is a window. There needs to be a fire escape. If the windows have bars, they need to come off. Those bars, it's a fire hazard. They need to have an emergency release latch from the inside.
Correct.
Quick emergency release latch.
Right.
It used to be where the latches where the security bars had lock and key. Well, you can't find that key when there's a fire. You can't find those. You can't find that.
There's a doorknob.
There's some that have the release latch, and it's got to be a quick and release.
Correct.
So if they have them on there back from the 70s and 80s, that's got to come off. At least it's got to come off before I get there. Before I get there, it's got to come off. If you want to put them back up after that, that's their business, But
Well, it's the law that one window in each bedroom has to have a fire release.
it's got you need to be able to escape.
Right.
You need to be able to escape. For FHA, if we're talking about hoarders, there needs to be a path to the window. So if you got a house that's got a bunch of junk and they got one room, if they have one room they're using for storage, or they just have a messy house, there needs to be a path to that window in case there's a fire. Okay? Any more questions?
How do you appraise a hoarder's house on that note?
I've been to them. I mean, it's a fire hazard. It's a fire hazard. I mean, it could be hard to get a loan. I mean, I remember the first hoarder house. I didn't even know the definition back then until the show came out.
Yeah.
This was just a house that it was. I mean, I walked in. As soon as I walked in, I was going like this. As soon as I walked in, I was like this, and there was stuff in the house to the ceilings, and he had made a path to get to the bedroom and made a path to get to the kitchen, and he just told me that he worked in the flea market, and that he had his stuff there. Okay. And then I went to the backyard, and there was cars, and this is in a regular residential neighborhood. This wasn't like in the acreage, you got an acre, 2 acres. No, he had cars on a 7,000 square foot lot. He had cars in the backyard. The grass was 4 feet high. And, I have to look past that. I have to, when I did that, I had to look what's here. I mean, you got top floors, you got a nice kitchen, you got your bathroom. I have to look and see what's actually there, because he was selling. So all that's coming out.
Yeah,
But on a refi, it's different because he's staying. Now, as a realtor, I have to explain in the report that this isn't typical. And if I say in the report that anything on that property is not typical, you're not going to get a loan. You're not going to get a loan.
Unless it's a hard money loan, right?
Oh yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Because anybody can be a hard money lender.
Yeah.
Anybody can. But you're not going to get a loan. It's got to be typical. Everything's got to be functional. There can't be any functional obsolescence.
Is it still true that if we go out to do an appraisal, if the homeowner who's selling the house only has like 5 years left on the roof, the life of the roof, Is that still acceptable, or you have to get it?
I just need to see that it's not leaking. I don't know if it's got, you know, as long as it's in good condition, you know, because it depends on the amount of hurricanes and where they're located at. But if I can see that it's in good condition, there aren't any spots or any leaks inside. It could be a shingle roof, and it could have been there 25 years already. I'm not, you know, and if it's in good condition, how do I know? I'm not going there asking, when did you buy? They may not have an invoice or a receipt. They just bought this house 5 years ago. How do we know? I just need I need to see that it's in good condition. I'm not remember, as appraisers, we're looking at everything, you know, we're just kind of looking over everything in the condition that it's in. We're not home inspectors. I'm not climbing into the attic. I can do, for FHA, I'm doing a head and shoulders inspection. I'm looking in there and just making sure there's no leaks, any stains in any rotted wood or anything like that. That's what I'm looking for. But we're not going around looking at every little thing like a home inspector, you know, crawling into crawl spaces, even though I have to look at crawl spaces. For FHA, it's a different type of inspection, but I do have to look at that, you know. With FHA, you can't, with your FHA properties, there can be, the biggest thing is scaling paint, wood rot. There can't be any wood rot on your fascia boards. If it's a board and batten exterior, on the walls. You can't have, I mean, you can pull up on Google your FHA list, what we look at, and it's a long list, but it's easy to look through while you look into the property, you know. You can't have any exposed wires. Any broken windows, you know, broken windows it's not a big issue, but because that's just cosmetic. But mainly things have to be functional. They got to be typical for the neighborhood. Even FHA allows for garage conversions. It allows it, so you don't have to undo it. I can just say, no, this is a garage. It's not being considered a living area. It's been converted into a bedroom, but we're not considering it as living area. These type of conversions are typical for the neighborhood. That's very normal, you know. That's it. Any more questions? Nothing? You're all good? So again, when you list a property, look at your list sale price ratio. That's really important. Figure that out. Okay?
You have a business card?
Huh? Yeah, I got it right here. Yeah. All right? All right, guys. All right.